This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. Today, one team will punch their ticket for Masters Bangkok, and one team will see their dreams of making it to the first global of the year dashed away. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 10 of VCT Americas Kickoff, coming at you live. Where at? The Riot Games studio. Where are we located? In beautiful, sunny, maybe not in this studio, Los Angeles, California. Hey, what's going on, everyone?
It's raining, man.
It actually is raining, that's right.
You can't just always say it's sunny.
I was outside for like a grand total of 3 minutes today, so
that's
just
a skill issue.
Is it sunny in Philadelphia right now?
Probably. Well, no, it's January. It's definitely not.
It's always sunny out there. That's
not true.
You were looking for. That's what you were like.
She's never seen the show. She lives there. She's never seen the show.
That's crazy to live in Philadelphia.
I've seen the show.
No, you haven't.
Only the first few episodes. I need to watch them.
And also, you should watch Abbott Elementary. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. All right, Abbott's a good show. Now, last week, we had 3 days of intense competition and incredible matches. But here is how our co-streamers reacted to some of the most jaw-dropping moments. Take a look.
What?
You monster! And then now he's getting the chance to isolate it. He's read down through that fight. Oh my God. Definitely got the read onto it. The tap, baiting.
What a flick, dude.
Unbelievable!
Is he going through?
Now given away. He's found one. 2 more. He's gotten it down.
Impulse. Wait.
He finds a time. Now repositions. Doesn't know where he is. Position now given away.
Oh, he's so cold, bro.
Fire with fire here.
Yeah,
killed him.
Scrappy start for
No, it's too much. No, it's too much to ask for. It's surely too much to ask for, right? It's surely too much to ask for.
Será que ele achou que o jogador deu TP? O Zé Quebrado domina.
Oh, he thought he got him. He's done the spray. That's an outrageous round to win.
Whatever Sentinels pay Zekin, it's not enough, dude.
É, meu amigo, assim, tem mérito gigante
Não
nele,
é
mas
possível,
tá
mano.
os confrontos que ele quer, cara. Quando a gente bate
Vamos!
no VOD, cara, sobre...
Look, I'm just glad he got a shirt on eventually. In any case, though, this is a big week for VCT, and we're setting the stage for Masters Bangkok and the year ahead. And today, we've got the launch of the 2025 season capsule, and it looks awesome. Now, every region has their own unique look, but which one should you rep? Let's go ahead and find out in the Spock Tank. There you go. See, there's a little bit of an effect there. All right, folks, here we go. I'm going to play the role of the uninformed consumer, one that I know all too well.
And selling it there.
Mimi and Ender, what's your pitch? We're also joined by Uber and Wyatt here today. What's up, guys? Good to see you.
Great to be here. I've got so much experience in meme coins. I think I'm ready for this.
You guys like consuming?
I'm a big consumer.
You're a big consumer? Well, let's sell them something to consume. Pull up the presentation here, please.
All right, let's see.
Now, you all look like some reasonable folks, right? Some people with good sense of taste, good sense of style, and a keen eye for a good investment. America's team capsules are a great investment. And why should you invest? Well, first of all, I know Golden Boy can't relate to this. Wyatt can. Wyatt totally can. But you're gonna be so popular if you get these skins.
How are you gonna be popular? Are you popular right now? How many notifications do you have on your phone right now?
Oh, like 12.
How many are from Slack?
12.
12.
Well, here's a quick solve to that one.
We can fix that.
They can help you.
Equip the VCT Americas player card, which is this one. Walk us through the features.
Look, this could be you.
No way!
That could be you.
Wait, hold on, let me try.
Yeah.
That could be you, Wyatt, with the white hair down there.
Wait. Are you
That's it.
saying that by buying this capsule, I can get hair?
I wouldn't go that far. We don't want to false
We
advertise.
can't do everything here, but what we can do is give you more friends.
When you have this bundle,
Okay.
right?
Because everyone together, you'd be repping the bundle, and then you're all friends. That's how you show it off.
No, that's fair, but then I have to deal with other humans, and I don't really like that.
Let's move on, though. Let's keep moving. There's a lot of features such as
just
that.
add VCT
and then,
logo.
that.
Talk to them.
More logos. We love logos
Moving
here.
on.
Is the main thing.
There's a lot of logos.
We're losing the
I'm
meme.
trying to move on.
You're
Okay.
losing me. You're losing
got-
me. Bring me back.
She has 99 skill issues. Aiming is one of them, but ever
It's not one of
since
them.
you equipped the bundle, we have not lost a ranked game.
Is that true?
It's a fact.
That's true.
We haven't lost a ranked game with you
That-
equipping the
that's
bundle.
so
And you guys are able to provide the evidence of this truth, right?
Wyatt,
Amy and I have had some tough games recently, but if you can promise to turn it around,
once I
with
buy the bundle, which I've done since the
Yeah.
last time we played a game,
I was on a 14-game losing
it's because you
streak.
didn't have the bundle, Wyatt.
Send
Once
help.
you equip the Americas bundle, you will increase your aim 74.8% scientifically proven in ranked and 87.9% in custom games. That's scrims, that's matches, that's huge, Wyatt.
No way.
That's a solution.
How'd you
for
guys get those numbers?
We crunched them.
We crunched them.
Yeah.
Sick.
All right.
And our abs never been better.
Question for
what's
you.
this?
Do you want
These
any
are
of
some
these?
really nice karambits. We like these, right? They're really
What do you
good
think of
stuff.
them, Golden Boy?
I actually kind of like them.
Don't
They're
look
really
at them. Don't look at them.
What the? What?
Do not look at them.
Oh dear.
Look at me.
No. Okay, I'm looking.
Don't look at them.
Okay, I'm looking at you.
You know what you're gonna look at? It's not me. It's this.
Oh.
It's not those.
No way. No way. No way.
Look at this one. You like this one?
Hey,
Oh, whoa,
it's spinning. Gira!
I wasn't ready for the spinning.
Gira! Our
It's a lot
karambits,
like that.
Gira! You
It's a
think
lot like
any of
that.
these other regions with their namby-pamby little karambits, you think they can Gira? No, they can't. Only an Aspas guaranteed karambit from Americas can do the spinning.
That's very true. It's fun. Here, I'll
Can you do it
watch
again?
it spin. Yeah, I'll do it again. Hold on. It's gonna spin. It takes a
See?
second. It's gonna spin.
Oh, look at Gita. Oh, it's Gita
You guys
so
like
much.
that? Do you guys
Just
like
like
that?
in-game.
Okay.
It's a lot like in
I like the
Gears today.
gradient.
You can buy it in the shop. It's
Yeah.
really cool. It's orange. It's red. It's a good colorway. It's spinny. You can spam the Y button to your heart's
okay.
delight.
Yeah, which you can't do with any other knife.
Famously.
Famously.
Oh,
Our spin 90% faster than other
And you get the
karambits.
other stuff too.
patriotic if you bought it.
Get out of the way.
What do you
Get out of
guys
the way.
think? What do you guys think? Uber Wyatt, what do you
Yeah.
think?
Isn't that beautiful?
If it helps me stop losing ranked games in our 5-stack, Mimi, then
And
I'm
it
in.
will. And it will. But here's the thing.
got me.
I
I'm in.
have it. If we both have it, the other three players have it, we're so back.
I'm gonna be honest.
You're one of three.
We could be a 5-stack right here.
I don't know if you want to do that. with me.
GB's more of a
bust the
console
controller
player.
I'll bust out the old Xbox controller, baby. What were you going to say?
I mean,
Uber?
I'd pay, if I can have this guy come into work not tilted after losing his rank games the night before and not doing his prep, then I could be on board. I could be all in.
It could happen. It
Yeah.
could happen.
Oh,
Dare I
yeah.
say it would happen? It will even.
Yeah, I will
Guaranteed.
I will buy this just to make sure that Wyatt doesn't lose 14 games straight in a row, thanks to me.
I can't deal
And
with that.
That was the
Viewers, you cannot lose 14
3
games
days of
too
my
if you
life.
simply invest in this bundle, which is very pretty and cool
Fact.
and also epic, I've heard.
There you go. All right, well, good job, guys. Good job. Well done-ish. Things
you.
were
They
said.
had me at the second Gira, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
It's
that-
no turtle bundle, but
That's true. That second Gita was really, it
it
sold
spin
me.
again.
But folks, at the start of kickoff, the three of us did some power rankings. It was interesting. And we ranked all 12 America's teams. It did not go
Yo,
very
go
well.
buy the bundle now. Don't watch this. Just
take a
a
look
minute
at
and a
what we
half
got.
to buy the bundle.
NRG.
Minute and a half. That's all we need.
I have no fingernails. It's a bad thing.
Outperformed initial expectations, but I don't want to overshoot because they beat EG.
Who legally have to be 11th because they lost, allowed a rough debut.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to
me that
overhype C9 just yet because NRG, if they had just woken up earlier that day, I still think they could win.
I had to say it. 2G lost to the subs. That's an easy
oatmeal and a
12.
banana.
MIBR, I think, will be much better later in the year, but with their rookies, poor debut, we're going to have to put them down in number 9.
Legally speaking, we have to do that. Legally speaking.
Legally speaking. There it is. Hey, good job. Well, hopefully this time around, Mimi won't fall on the ground and what is
I wouldn't do that.
only one of the funniest
we
things
saw
I
the
ever
tape, Mimi.
We kind of saw
That was
it.
the only mistake that we made was you falling down. You ruined it.
I wouldn't go that far.
Only-
because here is our
Okay,
power
let's
rankings.
start. There's a lot of good. Cruise in the top 6, that's basically the top 4.
Okay.
G2 Sentinels 1 and 2, love that. 2G12, love that. Everything else,
Kind of buns.
To be fair, we literally watched MIBR get smacked in their first game. We had to put them 9th.
it was the law.
We
Yeah.
could have put them lower
And I
if we
think
wanted
it's important to know.
honestly.
I think it is important to know for the viewers at home, right? When we did our initial power
It was
rankings,
a
this is like some
pleasant
cope
time.
for us. This is some cope for us. Okay, we had a week of rest, and we legally, against the law, we couldn't put the teams that lost their games above the teams that beat them in those games. So that's kind of where we were. But here's
so
the
true.
deal. Here's the deal, folks. All right, we're down now to our final 4 teams, and the stakes couldn't be higher. All right, and we only have 2 slots left for Masters Bangkok, and teams are going to need all the championship points that they can get, and we saw how important those championship points were last season, especially for the Sentinels. So for now, as you take a look at the bracket, here's a closer look at our top 4 finalists. And we're going to break this down with a nice scientific chart here. Basically, what we're trying to say is who's playing the old meta, who's playing the new maps, who's playing the old meta,
yeah,
who's playing the whatever.
And I just want to set this up by saying, like, I think this year is the biggest patch change we have had coming into a new year of Valorant in terms of seeing 2 maps we haven't seen in forever in Pearl and Fracture seeing play, and also 2 agents, both Taeho and the Vise, that got very little play towards the end of last year, be implemented. With our roster change in the offseason, these teams haven't had a lot of time to figure it out.
Yeah, so we have an alignment chart here to talk about who has what read on the meta, who's playing the new stuff. And let's talk about our first team, which is Sentinels. And I have them pretty cutting edge. They're playing a lot of the new agents, but they're not playing a ton of the new maps. They're still branding out Fracture, but in my mind, Sen is one of the teams on the cutting edge of these new changes.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is sort of the story of John QT, who went from being the Sentinel player for the team last year to now
the Taeho player.
Literally just a Taeho one trick, right? He's made this full swap over into the initiator side of things, which has changed Sentinel's playstyle a lot, right? I think last year they were so much around the calling of a lot of macro ideas, playing the slow split style. That was the iconic stuff with the double smokes and a Cypher. Now the Taeho makes them much more exec prone.
Yeah, and the implementation hasn't been perfect at times, but they're indexing really heavy into the Vice Taeho Yoru, which I think is probably the strongest 3 agents in the meta right now. You have Yoru to counter out Vice, you have Vice to counter out Taeho, and then you have Taeho, who's just incredibly strong with that refreshable utility. But they're not playing all the new maps. A team that is a little bit more in the past, though, with the stuff they've been playing, is Made in Brazil, because these guys, they have not really done much new at all. They're playing Pearl, but they're almost all the way into comps we've seen before.
Yeah, and even like on maps like Split, you have Artsin playing the Raze, they're playing Raze Jet, they're playing this
they're running back double duelists,
which is from the ancient times of Paper X.
From the olden days.
Yeah, but what it makes for is a team that even when you do dip into the very old style of play, when these are comps that aren't getting a lot of play in recent memory, it makes it harder for teams to adapt because you don't have experience scrimming against it.
But you did have them trying the new agents at the beginning. They tried out a Vise comp, they tried out a Taeho comp, they switched off both of those. And I think part of that might be them switching Artsin to be the IGL. When you're a new IGL playing comfortable comp, just playing slow mid-round, set Aspas up to get a pick, it's a lot easier to implement that into a new system quickly. And when you have the player quality of MIBR, you can make it work. But in my opinion, this style of play has a much lower ceiling than what a team like Sentinels, running the newest stuff with the most interesting util combos and having so many options, can do.
And that's sort of the story of our upper bracket and lower bracket right now, because our upper bracket is playing a lot of the new stuff, was our lower bracket, moving on to Crew, are also playing a lot of the old.
Yeah, Crew's not playing any of the new maps, and they have one map where they're playing the Vise, which I actually really like. I think they look great on their binds, but other than that, they're playing almost all old comps. So I'm going to put them a little bit more in the middle of this bottom quadrant here. Not playing Pearl, not playing Fracture, but being a little willing to check out the Vice while still playing some real old stuff on some of their other maps.
The thing that's so interesting to me about this Crew team is how sort of, I want to say, like, binary their attack and defense is, right? Like their attack side is looking really, really weak at the moment, whereas their defense is completely locked in. I think with this Crew team, you have 5 very skilled players. When they're taking fights on their own terms, they can 1v3, they can 1v4, they look very good on their defense, but when it comes to integrating in a team setting, that's where they're struggling right now.
When you look at our upper and our lower bracket, you really see this difference, where our lower bracket teams, I think, are very focused on playing slow defaults, letting their duelists get a pick, playing that very classic style of Valorant with generally pretty old comps, versus the rest of the field, your G2, your SEN, who are very reliant on the new util combos, new ideas, how the util works together. And for me, G2 is the ultimate cutting edge team, because not only are they playing new agents, they're also bringing back old agents like the Chamber in new and interesting ways, and they're so willing to play Pearl and Fracture. Both those maps look great for this squad, so I gotta put them all the way up.
Wow, yeah, honestly, like, I love to see what this team is doing, because yes, like you say, I think they're playing the best comp currently on Fracture, integrating the Taeho, but also Pearl, you have Leaf's Chamber that is looking incredibly dominant. You're playing no flash initiator, but you're making up for that fact with a Yoru and a Vise, so they've really figured out the puzzle puzzle pieces to make the new meta work.
One question I have regarding that, though, is, yeah, we're seeing Chamber being used by G2, but how much of that is individuals like Leaf being able to do that and not the meta necessarily?
I don't necessarily expect a ton of teams to pick up Chamber, but I think it helps them call around their defense a lot. These heavy initiator, Teo kind of compositions oftentimes rely on you making proactive plays on defense. And I think having a guy like Leaf, who you can guarantee let lock down one side of the map on the Chamber, is such a boon, and he's so good in those positions.
Yeah, on the defensive side, on the attack side too, he's locking down and making it impossible for anyone to lurk against him, and also finding very good lurk timings of zone.
And I think those are all the reasons why G2 stocks are sky high. They're at the cutting edge of the meta. They're showing incredible individual play. And when you watch them play, they just look a step ahead. They're so prepared in their reads in the mid-round for what their opponents are going to do. They've just looked sublime in their 2 games thus far.
Yeah, and to me it seems very clear how we've gotten here with this G2 team, because out of all the teams in Americas, they have gone through the least amount of actual change, right?
Yeah.
They've kept 4 of their core players. They've added in Jogamo, which has been completely seamless, whereas the other teams here, Sentinels and Crew, I believe, have kept 3 players. MIBR only kept the 2. So G2 have had a lot more time to focus on implementing and mastering the new stuff, whereas these teams haven't really bothered implementing it. They're playing the old, working on learning their team fundamentals. And Sentinels, they're slowly trying to integrate that in, putting Teo on a bunch of these maps, but the puzzle pieces aren't quite fully aligned for them.
And if I also want to, kind of take it back a step further and look even wider out, I mean, this core has been together for such a long time now, and the results kind of speak for themselves. Won Ascension, has succeeded in doing a ton of incredible things. I mean, granted, last year didn't really go, I'm sure, the way that they would have wanted to go, given the way that things have panned out in the early parts of the competition. But as the season went on, we were seeing a G2 team that really rested on their fundamentals.
G2 came back at the end of the year, but if there was a learning from last year's kickoff, it was about how important doing well early in kickoff is. Sentinels went on an incredible run to win this tournament, got themselves huge championship points there. Kind of combine that into a win then at Masters Madrid, even more points from that. And they were all but locked in 2 champions from the first few months of play in the year. And even though they struggled in the middle, they managed to come back and look pretty good at champions at the end because of how important their early performance was in 2024.
And applying that to this year, I think expectations preseason for G2 and Sentinels were very high. The expectations for MIBR and Crew, while improved upon last year, were maybe not planting them in top 4 just yet, if you saw our power ranking. So I think for these teams especially, if you want to see a Crew make it in on championship points at the end of the year, the better you do here, the better you're going to end up making it long term. And with the championship points spread out across the top 4 seeds, that's very meaningful that they've already made it.
Yeah, all these teams are getting points at the very least now, but if you're making it into the finals, if you're making it deep, qualifying to Bangkok, it makes the rest of the year a lot simpler for you, and you don't have to be as reliant as a huge step up, which we have seen from Crew in the past, right? They've always made champions, but this year, if they keep doing well at kickoff, it gives them a lot clearer road to making that tournament.
Yeah, and you saw right there the breakdown of how things looked at the end of 2024 and how the kickoff tournament really did have ramifications throughout the entirety of the year. Now, we're going to break down today's upper final between Sentinels and G2 in just a few minutes, but first, here's Zellsis interviewing Zellsis.
What?
Yeah.
2 of them?
Hey everyone, this is Zellsis. I'm going to be going a little crazy today and I'm going to be interviewing myself. Wait, what am I? People know you for being the #1 salesman for the Sentinels bundle. How did this come to be? Well, it isn't easy, especially when you have to compete with all the other bundles, but it's definitely a rewarding job for sure because I'm the only bundle in the game. Were you always the Vibe Merchant in your career, and do you take pride in being the Vibe Merchant? Well, I'm glad you asked that, Zellsis. I definitely haven't always been the Vibe Merchant. You could say I was the Vibe Killer at sometimes back in my career. Sometimes you have to be the Vibe Dad because you just have a lot of kids on your team that, have no discipline, but yo, this is not helping my case because I don't know, sometimes I just lose my mind with things and yo, you're getting old, Unk. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of losing my mind. All right, so you've always said that you wanted to win 1 trophy in your career. Now that you've won 2 trophies, being America's Kickoff and Masters Madrid, what would you like to accomplish now this year? I guess my goal this year is to win as many as I can. I don't want to give up esports. I love esports. I want to be in it after I'm done playing as well. So I guess I want my name to be remembered. I want to be in the top of the NA Americas players, and that would be my dream. Well, that's it for the interview. It was amazing to be able to interview such a talented man such as myself. You should try interviewing yourself sometime. It's actually pretty fun.
I will try that sometime there. I do that in my mind all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I got problems. But you know what, folks? It's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good week of games, good weekend of action here.
Are you talking to yourself again, or is that tough?
It depends.
Hyping it up too.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never
TV
know.
in your head.
Yeah. I usually let the little guy in there know, hey, you're doing great. Here's the joint, though, fellas, all right? Let's move on and talk about Sentinels, because this squad had to pull all the stops in order to take down, honestly, a Loud that came into this kickoff with low expectations, but came out of it quite white hot.
I'm going to be honest, it was a miracle that SEN won this game. Not from the onset, but what happened in the match. You look at them down a map on Pearl. It's something like 11-11. And then the last 3 rounds, I think Loud makes some big mistakes on the way they're playing B, leaving Pencata backside every time, and they barely scrape by to win that map. Then map 3, they're down on Split. Zekken has a 1v5 ace to bring them back. This was a very classic Sentinels win, where so much went wrong, but in these last few rounds, they always came up with the right call, had the right player make the big play to survive an incredibly close match against Loud.
So what you're saying is they're on track to win kickoff and win Masters Bangkok.
It's a similar script to last year,
because
I will be honest.
literally last year, they played the maximum amount of games. So far, the first 2 series, it's gone 3 games in both. It's been insanely close. They've nearly been eliminated in both those as well.
They just haven't had to do it from the lower portion of the bracket like they did last time, because they went in there fairly early.
Look, Kaplan says he likes to see the boys work and get a lot of maps under his belt.
It's interesting because we see some rounds in that series where SEN look like the future Sentinels. He's playing really great util combos with the Teo in their comp, has these incredibly well-structured rounds, but we're still seeing the Sentinels of last year, who, when it gets into the slop, they have the plays to get through it. But I think it's a big question of whether that can work against G2, who thus far has looked like the cleanest team in Americas, maybe the cleanest team in the world. They're looking like Carmi out there, not a speck of dust allowed. Every second counts for this team.
Hey, but you know what, though? Unlike last year, they made a pretty big change this year. They got themselves a bang. And he's actually standing by with Rivington to get his thoughts heading into this matchup.
I'm here with Bang before his big game versus G2 today. Late last year, you joined Sentinels. What have you enjoyed about being on the team? How has it been? What has it taught you? And what are you looking forward to?
I mean, honestly, my favorite part is the players and the coaching staff. Obviously, I interact with them every day, but they're just great people, funny people to be around. So we always goof around all the time. So it's a lot of fun. But honestly, it's also taught me, being on Sentinels, how much some orgs can care about their players and the management. I feel like they care a lot about us, and they've shown it many times. So we always get catered to our needs, get food whenever we want. So it's pretty chill.
It sounds like a good gig. Good luck in the match today.
Yeah, and honestly, Bang was the difference maker in their final map of Split against Loud.
What a difference.
Starts off so weak on that attacking side, and my man was putting up the numbers that I think every Sentinels fan was hoping to see out of this guy, and then some with the signing.
And this is what he was doing on 100 Thieves last year. In my opinion, the best member of that 2400 Thieves roster, and keeping it up here for SEN. When they're playing nail-biters like this, they really rely on him to come up with these clutches. But also with the way they play their defense, they need him to be that stalwart anchor. This Teo Breach comp excels at playing the Flood retake. And if your anchor isn't living long enough, providing space to actually let the initiators rotate and flood in, you are losing rounds, and Bang is consistently getting them those wins.
Yeah, honestly, I think this guy is going to be one of the strongest side anchors in Americas, and specifically when getting very little support. I think the way that he sort of thinks about the game, the positions he's putting himself in consistently on sites, abusing off angles, working the conditioning against you, playing off his own smokes. He has such a mind for that style of play, probably out of the doldrums of solo queue where you have no support for yourself whatsoever. But that's how he views the game, and he's so crisp out.
Yeah, very smart player. It's reflected in the game. I mean, the guy puts up numbers. He's so freaking talented. And while, Bang always approaches the game without a doubt in a very methodical sense here, on the other side, you look at the duelist matchup, both players very methodical. It's just their methods are quite crazy, and they're so good as a result of that, and very entertaining.
Absolutely, but Zekken's great. But if I'm a SEN fan here, I am quaking in my Sentinels branded sneakers and my Sentinels branded hoodie.
Yeah, not included in the bundle for the
Not included.
Because Dodgemo has just been so fine We have not seen an outstanding jaw game yet. He's been good on G2. He's
That's crazy,
fit the system well, but we have not seen a jaw takeover yet. And that's not because he's been bad. That's just because they've been stomping every game. And once we get that jaw takeover game, G2 becomes all the more terrifying.
Yeah, and people maybe forget a little bit. Last year for Jogamo, he wasn't putting up the best numbers. Like, it was actually probably one of the weaker years for him.
I would say
in
the
his
weakest.
career. Sure. I don't think we're seeing that. Even though the numbers are lower, the rounds where he still needs to have impact, he is still shooting where he needs to.
But talking about Zekken, he's taken to this Euro role so well. I think his util on that agent has looked so comfortable. We already talked about his 1v5 ace clutch earlier in the show. He's been as consistent, as incredible as ever for Sentinels.
Yes, this is the battle that I am so looking forward to here. Zekken and Jogamo. It doesn't get any better than that, though. But for more on what we should be expecting on the G2 side, let's send it over to Riv, who's standing by with a special guest.
I'm with Jonah P before the match today, a big one before Sentinels here. I got to ask you, it's been widely said now that G2 is the best team in America. How are you feeling about that conclusion? Do you think any other teams stack up there?
I mean, we only played 2 matches, so it's kind of funny seeing all these conclusions. But, you know, I mean, we feel good. I think today will determine, you know, and solidify, like, who is the best team. Because, you know, it's always G2 and SEN, like, one of the most consistent. I would say we're looking a bit stronger. They're also getting the wins, but ours are just a bit cleaner, and that's pretty much it.
I got a little follow-up question. What team, when you play them, do you think kind of teaches you the most about you guys as a team and what you need to do?
It's hard to say because we've kind of been pretty dominant in practice in general. So I would say just Josh RT if I had to pick someone. Ooh. He's always, you know, hour review before scrims, 2 hours after scrims, you know. I would just give it to Josh.
All right, Josh gets it.
Look, it's no secret that Leaf is one of the best players in Americas right now. I just want to take a moment to appreciate the numbers because they are crazy. And especially since he's made the move over and playing out of this chamber, he has just been fully unleashed. Yeah, #1 in basically every category. That's all you need to know. The guy can shoot. But now I want to look at his attacking side on Pearl and how well he shuts down creep ups from the defense and also gets lurking himself. In this round, right, his team is getting ready for a little bit of a fight into mid while all of a sudden Demon One smokes off that trip to try and path on past that, which he can hear, right? Immediately. Leaf is turning around. That's him right there, fully prepared to take this fight. Yeah, okay, he misses a shot, but it doesn't matter. He's going to get that kill and take down Demon One. But the way he's shut down B Long wasn't just off of his own lurk play as well. It just takes a few rounds later for him to get an op in his hand and him to again make it impossible for Demon One to step up into Long. The first thing you're going to look at is the drone, right? So drone comes around the corner, gets broken. Now they know that Demon One, he's sort of in that pocket right there, you know, the little guy. He's standing there with his gun, hiding in the corner. You guys get me. You get me. And Jogamo is going to do a lot of this jump baiting. So basically, he's going to jump peek a couple of times here and hope that Demon One posts up on the line, and as they're resetting, Leaf is going to be able to sneak in there. So again, posts up on the line. Here comes another jump peek, I believe. No one's peeking. No one's peeking. Probably because I haven't pressed play. There's the jump. There's the flash. Easy kill. And what that does in the very first 6 rounds of the game is it says, hey, never come B long ever again. And after that, it makes it a lot easier to focus around some mid control for the team. And here, I want to actually look at what Leaf is able to do in the mid space. He's going to start out in a lot of rounds playing away from the rest of his team. Come on, man, help me out. There we go. So here he is over in A lobby right now. And one thing that G2 will do is they'll use Astra Stars to help him out. So that could be a pullback star if he takes a contact, anything. And ultimately, what he's going to do is he's going to creep up into the space and realize there's actually not a fight for him. Enemy Astra is going to put a smoke in main, but he doesn't overforce. And this is an anti-eco, so he's going to play things very slowly, moving back over into the mid space. So often you'll see him playing in these 2 buckets right here, trying to cut off players going for fast rotates or flanks into the mid space. He fights pretty aggressively for that. But you can see, again, he doesn't rush, right? He could go look into street for kills right now, but he waits, right? Enemy team, they're looking for him in mid, but he's really not going to give the angle. And it's only at the point where G2 are ready to look for this pinch play in to street that he's going to go for the swing here. Wow, the Telestrator really doesn't like me today, but he's going to go for the swing as we're ready to come help out on the other side. I'll just roll the clip and you can appreciate that one more time. A flash goes through, they're feinting this fight. and a little flash comes in on the other side. And this guy was putting up some insane rounds outside of that, as I just appreciate him killing Demon one more time. Easy clap.
Easy clap. You'll love to see it, folks. All right, people. Well, this is it. Let's go ahead and start the kickoff's final weekend. It starts right now.
My upcoming match against G2, it'll be a good game as always. I think they're very talented, they're very young, very skilled. I think One Leaf is just in his form right now.
Nice shade of blue still. You don't want to overextend into this one, you monster!
They have good individuals. I don't think their team play is very good. I think they went off a lot of heroics, to be honest, and that's probably what our game is going to come down to, is team play versus heroics.
Narrate is close by and he's dead. Much more to be found for Zek, and he's gonna have to ace if he wants to win this out. Make that 4. Not able to settle the shots. He buys some time on the swing, and second delivers for Sen City.
One of them will just go for hero timing and they'll maybe get it, or they won't. But we just need to be very prepared for that kind of stuff and just make sure that we do our best to not let it overtake us.
I do think if they make the international stage and they win something, or keep going top 2, then I'll consider them the best team in the world. But right now, sorry G2, but it's just America's.
Riot Games Arena, it's time for the kickoff upper bracket final. Let's make some noise for the first team to take the stage. G2 Esports!
And G2 Esports coming into this one with a lot of hype. And they have every reason to be excited for this. G2 has been on an absolute tear throughout the entirety of kickoffs, looking like a dominant force, Mimi. Can anyone stop them?
They look like the team to beat. Their team play has been excellent throughout this tournament. Whenever a round goes wrong, the individuals have won pretty much every time. I cannot say there has been a team who has tested G2 yet. And I think the biggest question for Sentinels is, are they in the same league? Can they actually challenge this G2 team, or are they going to make a run all the way to the Americas Trophy and Bangkok?
It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Let's go ahead and bring out their opponents.
Now, let's bring out their opponents. Fighting for a spot at Masters Bangkok, Sentinels!
And you can hear the crowd for the Sentinels, most definitely the fan favorite squad. A lot of people love this team, but I mean, there's one team that don't love them on the other side of the stage is G2, and they're looking to shut this one down as soon as they can. You're at Zellsis as well saying, I don't think G2 is the best team in the world, and maybe America's, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he'll try and prove that he's the best coming up in this game right here. Look, from Sentinels, it's been a little bit more inconsistent compared to G2 on the other side. Sentinels are going to have to come in. They're going to show they put in a lot of work this week and bring their absolute A game if they want to take down the team that's faced them down on the other side.
That game against Loud was just so close. It came down to the heroics, to clutches, to come out on top. They have a lot of really interesting ideas. They're on the cutting edge of the meta with the Yoru, with the Vise, with the Tejo. But I think the question is always going to go back to implementation and if they are at the same level of G2 in terms of their team play.
Yeah, and honestly, we're going to be looking at, we've seen Jogamo and Zekken mirror Jet matchups before. We've seen mirror Raze matchups. Don't think we've ever seen the mirror Yoru matchup. And with a pool like this, we're going to be seeing some Yoru.
Very possible. There's your series layout: Abyss, Pearl, and Fracture if necessary. Mimi, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I think Abyss is going to be interesting. My biggest question is how Sentinels are going to crack Leaf on the chamber. They've only shown that map once thus far, but he was an absolute menace in main when they were on their defensive side. So many resources had to get put into dealing with that one guy. And on top of that, they're playing double Senti as well with the Vise in the mix. It's a very difficult comp to navigate through.
Yeah, genuinely, I think that G2 has the best read on the meta of teams in Americas at the moment. They've got some patterns you can look at, sure, like how Leaf Leaf is going to approach that mid space on attack, right? Very slow in his play, but ultimately what it means is there's very few gaps to try and punish G2 in a massive way, even if you are looking at those tendencies. This team is very reserved in a way where they don't leave themselves open to a lot of avenues of attack.
We haven't seen Sentinels on this map yet in Kickoff, so there's still questions there. But for G2, going back to that same comp, or is that different? Were they playing the Vice before?
We're starting out on
Abyss.
Abyss, yes, yeah. I'm almost positive.
Excuse me, I was trolling with that one. It is the same exact composition being ran through with that double initiator look, and this is a very classic Abyss comp on the other side for Sentinels.
As old as they come right here, honestly. It's hard, right? Because you can absolutely make it work, but I feel like the flexibility that you're sort of provided with the different teleports that G2 have and the sort of opening up for Leaf to take the fights he wants to take on the chamber.
Problem.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's going to be a big problem to have to deal with.
First time we're going to get to see Zekin on the Jet this stage. He's been playing so much of the Yoru of the Rays, but this is back to a classic agent for him.
Well, folks, Masters Bangkok is on the line. So let's go ahead and get this banger started. Riot Games Arena, make some noise as we send it over to your casters. It's Uber and Wyatt.
It just about doesn't get any better than this, folks. Just like Golden Boy said, the winner of this match will have one of those guaranteed spots at Masters Bangkok. And of course, it's two of our biggest rivals here, not only domestically, but worldwide. If you think back to NG2 as a European org, these guys are going to throw down some strong opinions also expressed about one another's approach to the game, Wyatt.
Definitely. It's been 4 years straight of trash talk, banter back and forth from these two organizations, all types of different rosters throughout those periods of time.
Bro. Never.
But, you know, really, we haven't seen these two cores play against each other all that much. I'm excited to see them go at it, everything on the line.
It's time for Samsung match start, folks. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs into the pistol, with G2 starting on this attack side. And SEN Opta. And Circle here through mid. They've already got Bang positioned over towards that door, so keenly aware that G2 might be looking to overload this part of the map.
We haven't gotten to see a whole lot of G2's attacks. Oh my god, a shock actually connects with that spam damage as well. First blood from Trent, and Leaf finds the second. The duo that has been just unreal for G2 up until this point.
SEN go exploring there in mid after that first kill comes out. And obviously from that upper catwalk, it's an easy pick off for Leaf with the Headhunter. Zekin has been the hero. We've heard the word heroics thrown around by G2. They're softly referring to this guy on your screen. Zekin has been incredible. Will he have to do that again in a series like this, Jorg? Such him down early, though. No value there off that Sheriff. Sentinels down to 2, and frankly, White have been picked apart one by one.
And we get an early taste of, oh, well, Jonah in a bit of trouble, but all things considered, this should be fine. Unless Bang able to pick up a second here.
Zellsis is still at large as well. He's got to make something happen from here, though, and kind of gave the game away earlier. Was given a stay of execution as, for some reason, Jonah couldn't connect. But Zellsis is having the same kind of yips. Getting Valen, but down to 48. In the post plant, mind you. Means Zellsis here can try and save some face, but that's about all we can expect from a round like this. Flashpoint, Jonah plays off his own flash. And that's a pistol for G2.
Really clean fight towards mid, straight off the jump. Sentinels, we haven't seen them on this map yet. You know, I was expecting maybe a Vice coming into this because Zellsis has played so much of it, but they opt for
the double controller.
Yeah, the double controller, which definitely offers a lot of help for controlling mid. Given the sightlines are so long, it's tough to try and push up either on defense or attack. We'll have to see what they exactly intend on doing with it, though. G2 off to a hot start. At the moment, they've played 4 maps, won all of them really with ease.
They're really leaning into this idea of John QT as their initiator. He's on the Sova on this map. After playing nothing but Teho all kickoff. And there's a push by Sentinels out of the A site. G2, though, very much elsewhere.
Yeah, can't be mad at them going for the gamble. That's where Leaf was last time, so perhaps hoping if he's there again on that solo lurk containing A, they could have caught him by pushing really deep, but not going to be the case.
Well, they've made enough sound to wake the dead, but Leaf is going to remediate that. Puts them back to bed. Zekin at least is able to get one. And he will be set up here, of course, over towards that link.
Yeah, and pretty standard to have your Sentinel be one of the players that just retains a ghost, maybe a sheriff into that second round, be a bit more active with the lurk, trying to find kills. And if there's one thing Leaf's been, it's active in the lurk situations.
Trent, beautifully done. The higher ADR, KPR as well than any other state or tournament last year. Trent is really coming alive right now.
I remember back in the olden days when Trent was the hot upcoming star in Americas when the guard debuted way back when. Has just been consistent for them now and essentially a veteran at this point. Years of competing, but at the moment, really reaching a new peak.
What a battle, by the way. John QT and Valen, who come from the same graduating class, right? Think back, the guard, M80, these two incredible IGL prospects coming out of North America. And their record head-to-head, by the way, 5 for Valen, 4 for John QT. This is a battle of the masterminds.
Outlaw in the hands of Leaf will have, well, 1-2 targets actually that could get one shot. Second shot doesn't connect onto Georgimo. That would have been a one-shot kill.
On that note, probably the first time we've seen Zekin on the jet for the entirety of kickoff as well. It's been all Yoru, and obviously a little bit of Raze on split earlier. Okay, Narrate has the TP away from that aftershock here, so no presence towards the coast side. He'll still be set up decently for this, though.
Leaf deals with that drone as Trent picks up the orb. G2 known to be one of those teams that,
slow.
Yeah, they like to take their time on that attack side. They'll work the map. They want to give IGL Valen as many options as possible, figure out which side is weakest, and then go into one of their full executes where their timings on the utility have just been sublime.
G2 are waiting for much of that util to cycle back up now. Fault line is once more available for Jonah P. We saw that off the rip at the start of the round. Jorgamo here's got some ground to cover, of course, with a stinger in hand. He'd like to make that effective, and Narrate's playing close here. Caught out. It'll swing by Jorg, will secure it. John playing well and truly off the side, but this Sova util may light the way for SEN, as they've got second tucked up here, nice and close.
Spike going to be planted, Zekin Outlaw for the retake, going to be challenging to try and find a kill unless someone from G2 over pushes, but over pushing doesn't seem like that's going to occur whatsoever. They're playing back just to spam the spike on cliffside.
Yep, strictly into those post-plant positions, leaving Jorgamo to cause problems up close here with that stinger, get some valued Leaf. Presiding over the situation from a long way away will bring Zellsis down, and SEN don't have any options. Frankly, the rotate over to upper was fairly late for them anyway. So they're going to pack it in for this round, hold on to the rifles.
Absolutely flattened in the bonus round. It's just slow, patient excellence from G2. I love how they deal with that repush back out of the Nebula to take down Narrate, who was already on such low HP. He was feeling pressure to try and be a bit more aggro. Bang needs to save that rifle, and he will. Oh, well, timing is a little off there from Trent.
Okay.
You hate to see that. Broken ankles. And the rest of his body, really. It's about a 700-foot drop.
Fortunately, after such a powerful bonus round, money not a huge issue there for G2. But Jorg walks up there through that dark cover. Narrate loses out to the stinger.
Yaga.
And the post-plant position's very comfortable for G2. They just slowly pulled off of that site behind that Astra smoke. And we're good to go. So tech pause here. Coming up, folks, we've got a mild audio issue down there on the stage, so we'll have that addressed in just a moment. But if you want to look towards the SEN camp, there's not a whole lot to say about these first couple of rounds, Wyatt.
No, certainly not. They've struggled to get some kills on the board, too. They've only got 4 total at the moment, 3 rounds in. So they're going to be lacking in ult orbs. That's going to be even better for G2 to start to snowball. They have a comp that has really powerful ultimates when you have the Breach in the mix for the Rolling Thunder, the Dimensional Drift from Jaw, and they have a Hunter's Fury active when we get back into this. Danger for Sentinels looming early on for the G2 map pick. A map where we saw them handle Cloud9 with relative ease in their debut match.
And already, frankly, Leaf on that G2 side has had a great start to this game. Still seeing that chamber that he's been able to make work. It was so funny hearing the initial conversations about whether or not he should play chamber here in VCT. In scrims, he was getting bodied. And he sort of said to Valen, it's like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I'm struggling to have impact here. Valen's like, hey, once you get on stage, once you get on that 5 ping, trust me, you're going to cook. He trusted his IGL. He brought Chamber in for that debut game, of course, and G2 looked sick.
Yeah, he has been, he's definitely been cooking. You could say that, given he's the statistical leader in essentially every single category in the tournament at the moment. The least kills he's put up on a map at 20. Utter dominance, and it's looked effortless as well.
And you want to talk about heroics and how maybe Sentinels have really lent on Zekken to be a huge impact player. I've got to say, G2 have plenty of those candidates waiting in the wings to step up should they need them. Let's talk about your boy Zellsis, though. He had a little bit to say about facing his old teammate Leaf, so let us listen in.
Playing Leaf is always fun just because I consider him a very annoying younger brother. Like, we're always talking, we're always hanging out. We were on a team before, and I feel like we just have like a level of respect plus friendship with each other. And he's honestly just one of the best players to touch this game. I think he's been like that since he started playing this game. So it's just, I mean, it's just always fun and interesting to play against him because you never know what's gonna happen, and you never know if he's gonna go plus 40 or, you know, his scoreline or whatnot, but yeah.
Only positive things to say about Leaf, and I think the one that for me is poignant is he feels like he's one of the best players to touch the game, and I think that Leaf's now in a position that he really gets to demonstrate that. He's got such a cohesive unit to work through in G2 who have kept so much of this roster together for quite some time now. And the dividends for that dedication, White, I believe, are starting to really show this year.
Leaf really has consistently been one of the best Americas players for years. Back to when we were pre-VCT and it was still called Challengers, when he was with Cloud9. He's been on these teams that have always been at the top, but just fall short, like G2 getting second twice last year in Stage 1, Stage 2 finals on Cloud9, where they would just run through teams in the regular season, but fall short in the playoffs. If there were ever a time for this G2 team to break through that glass ceiling, get a trophy, it's now. It's with Jaw in the roster, the new X Factor. All right, we're on the full buy. What can SEN do? They had a couple rifles saved.
And looking all that great for them, of course, after the bonus for G2 went so well for that attack side. Can they make a dent, SEN? A pretty laboured push out of A with no real commitment.
It was a pop flash into a recon to try to find an early advantage with the bad buy that they're on. Doesn't manifest itself, and in the meantime, you had Trent over towards B. He expended his drone. He's trying to draw attention, but all for naught. SEN are still stacked up towards A.
Neither John nor Zellsis here at A have good weaponry to work with. This is bad, and Bang was the one actually with the rifle. Crossing to try and pick that up could be dangerous, but Zellsis is able to get there. So the rifle is still in someone's hands, but a huge first pick and leap. Okay, I was worried he might not be done, but Zekken finally gets himself into the game here.
A late trade, but much needed for SEN. Zekken weak, throws the rifle over to John. Cutie, a smart little micro decision. Unfortunately for him, nowhere near the Bladestorm, so he'll be stuck on the Classic. Does Zellsis want to fight this though or get out?
He's got no choice, no option. Fault line's going to force him out of the action now. Ajorg scrambling over container. And he's been the one, the tip of the spear so far, to push those smokes and take those fights. It was against Narrate earlier. This time, though, he's going to allow Zellsis to stew for a time in security. There might be a crossfire set up here by Valen, so they are ready to work this angle together, but Flash comes in. Valen and Jorg, there they are. Hunter's Fury also feels extraneous at this point. A comfortable round here for G2, and the last of those SEN rifles are torn out of their hands.
Just picture-perfect crossfire set out by G2 after getting into the site. It's again that patience on display from them after the initial fight. They don't try to re-clear back into A main too fast. They allow that Outlaw to pay off by slowing the pace of the game. You know, that's something that they've been doing a lot. Prioritizing Leaf getting a scoped weapon on attack. Dare I say, I think Leaf is probably doing more, or rather buying into those scoped weapons, playing with the Outlaw and AWP more in total than I've really ever seen him do in the past.
And maybe even, you know, I mean, who else will come close so far in Kickoff? Maybe Digizine, someone else who's really trying to buy into that weapon. He did drop it that last round, but of course, we can upgrade to an operator here.
Sentinels calling the timeout. Kaplan trying to fix things early before the game gets completely out of hand. Again, we have to pay attention to the snowball that G2 are on in regard to the ultimates, because SEN were lacking in kills. They were lacking in getting orbs. So as we head into this next one, G2, they're on the cusp of a couple. The dimensional drift one off.
And just briefly taking a look ahead, if Sentinels can't get something going here on this map, they've got to rely on their Pearl map pick, which has looked great for them in fairness, but I mean, G2 took us there once and looked stunning. So there's no guarantee that they can even the series up here. They must find some traction on this defense side of Abyss.
Now, this is going to be, should be the toughest test for this G2 squad so far. They've been going against better and better opponents as time has gone on. It started with the 2-0 versus C9, and then Leviathan, a 2-0 versus them.
But for Sen,
this has to
2-1s.
Yeah, this has to be the real test for them. All right, can Sen get back into this out of the timeout? What has Kaplan cooked up for them?
Might get another early pop off a flash on the A side of the map for Sen. Looks like they're going to give it up here. And a smoke placed pretty far forward by Narrate over to B. So Jorgamo's going to have this orb.
Yeah, gets them the dimensional drift, prioritizing the ultimates. Again, it's that snowball that they're on economically with the orbs. Offers Zekin. He's trying to control mid. Perhaps have an engagement against Leaf, but we'll have to see.
This is the same spot that Narrate was tested in by Jorg walking up at the Stinger a couple of rounds ago. He's elsewhere, though. He's made his way all the way down mid. It might look to wrap around here. Emerge it. A pretty dangerous timing here for Sen. He should spot John over there. He's going to be forced off by a fault line. Here comes Jorg. He's on the side, and Narrate gets absolutely flattened. And nobody else for Sentinels is inside B. They've all now got to peer in from the extremities. And once again, G2 can fall back to these post-plant positions after Trent sticks it.
Oh, and Jaw, he went back through the gate crash, picks up Bang on the rotate as well. That is so intelligent from the new G2 star. Their one off-season change.
And Sen have to just drag themselves here onto the site. They've cleared it at least with a 0 point. They have some information, but Leaf will be waiting on this. Oh, an opportunity to strike, but Zekin is waiting, and he held the line. Now, things get a bit more even. Zellsis able to spray down. Trent's going to have a crack in it, or at least light them up here. Trying to stop the plant, but Zekin plants his feet instead. Jorg, though, coming from behind. Zellsis isn't ready for it. The third for Jorg, and now the updraft won't be enough to shake the Yoru. Jorg with 4, and G2 cannot be stopped.
Jaw is just too good. He is the X factor for this team. The reason we're looking for them to have finally, push things over the top. This roster is just so good. All 5 players.
Man, that guy put in some mileage last round.
Right here, this moment, that flash into the fault line. Look at how it leaves Narrate on an island, and then that snappy shot. Teleports back to mid, cuts off Bang on the rotate from A, and then reroutes through the flank. The pathing in that round from him is perfection. This guy is so different.
Sen got completely exposed in that round. And now, of course, we go back to take some humble pie. Just the pistols to work with now. Bladestorm for Zek, and any edge that Sen could possibly get in a round like this. Any way to keep it lit on the economy.
They've gone back to the well of push A main. Try and find an opening there, which hasn't worked so far. Zekin spotted by the drone, and he's going to be on the run.
Trenton's just ready for it. Playing in a safe proximity. Clearing with the R drone, and Sen re-explore immediately back into A main. They are adamant about getting their pistol value, such that Zekin even extends to get some damage on Trent. And G2 don't like what they see. Now they take control of mid for the attackers.
Again, it's slow from G2. They want to get that information around the map. They know that there's got to be, minimum 2, probably 3 players fighting for a main, so they gather up B. But Sentinels kind of beating them to the punch. They've got rotates here. Can they try and get in for Narrate?
John is playing from upper instead of Link this time. Narrate's going to get hit with all of the util here, though. He is stunned for the foreseeable future, and Jorg emerges. Another double. Zeka with the Bladestorm desperately trying to even the odds. But this is oppressive from G2.
The fundamentals on G2 have been lights out. This is the 5th map in a row on this tournament where you never spot a situation where a player is pushed forward and there isn't that second player behind him ready to trade. They are always there for each other. Jaw presses forward, then you have Trent fighting next to him. This transfer spray onto Zekin, who really needed to find that kill to give Sentinels any amount of chance.
Swimwear? Is that code for he's in there? 6-0 here for G2. Once again, Sentinels back to the buy. A Cosmic Divide here, that's set up by Valen. It gives G2 all this space. Oh, and was that from Zekin? Godly reaction time.
They need him to come to life like that. Leaf immediate trade onto Narrate, though. Do G2 try and slow it down? They're trying to give Leaf some time to work the map. Zekin is weary.
They've gambled the A site. This triplet of Sentinels. able to finally nullify Jorgamo's impact. Trent here is a lone wolf over towards A main as Leaf is still meandering his way up the top of mid.
And you've got to imagine at some point Leaf is just going to wander into this crosshair of Zekin. He can't sit in top mid forever.
Zekin is patient. Has a real good feel for this. The shot though isn't good. So Leaf has another option, another chance perhaps, and Zellsis ends up getting taken down. So Leaf still takes his pound of flesh. Pinged out here though, 40 seconds left in the round. The spike is over towards A main. This would be Herculean for Leaf. Even for him, it might be asking too much. Okay.
30 seconds left.
Oh, that's unreal. Bang gets hit with the trademark there. Easy to spray him down. He was slowed. But again, up against the odds was Leaf, and finally SEN City get the lights turned on.
Feels like they either found or are just trying to force confidence in that round. But I want to see that from Zekin. He really has been the key to success for Sentinels. Like Leaf said in that interview before the game, he feels that this team is relying on heroics. The hero has been Zekin. He comes up with that lovely first kill.
Brick by Brick is right. And a very lackluster start here for Sentinels so far, but now something a little bit more to hang your hat on. Again, we saw the replay there from Zekin a couple of times, realizing that he has to take action there. Otherwise, they get stifled, choked out by a cosmic divide that would allow G2 to take so much of the map. It was important that he intervened in that situation. We also see Zellsis get more active over towards the A main. Took a kill of his own. And once again, ironing out just a minor audio issue here. Sentinels, of course, know they have a bit of a climb. G2 have been flawless, though, in so many of these rounds. And again, that was a round I'd pin on heroics to some degree from Sentinels. Are the fundamentals going to be there in a long series against their arch nemesis?
That was a cool attempt at that split A hit from G2. The cosmic divide, purpose to just cut off Zekin on that angle. So him swinging through it, pretty mad, but G2, they've got to feel like that's just not going to come because it is so reckless in a way that it is the perfect timing to do it.
And we're talking about a team last year in VCT who didn't really have the highest of expectations, I think, for them. I mean, fans in general. We saw them had a slower start to the year, but it wasn't long before we realized that G2 were a real, legitimate threat. But they walk out of the year, like you mentioned, with 2 of those second place finishes in Stage 1, Stage 2 respectively. So not able to hoist a domestic trophy, let alone really strike deep into one of those international events. I think their champions finish left something to be desired for them, falling out in 7th to 8th place. Seeing Sentinels, of course, they're in 4th. Leviathan above them even. So in terms of our Americas delegates, G2 are still looking to really sit on the throne internationally.
And that is the expectation from their fans, from the general community. I mean, common sentiment is they are the best team in Americas right now. And a lot of people are arguing that they're the best team in the world heading into Masters if they do make it there, which is the expectation. This team has looked fantastic. And it's just come from 2 roster changes and even role swaps over time. You know, when you're talking about at the beginning of last year, Leaf was playing Duelist, and he was putting up numbers. He was always giving them against like 20-plus kills on every map that this guy finds. But that just wasn't the right role for the team. And then when they swapped him over to the Sentinel, which he had some history playing on Cloud9 back in the day, that's when things really started to heat up for the team, when things began to click. And then you bring in Jaw, world champion, and all of a sudden, this team should just have gone completely over the top in regard to skill. The IGLing from Val, I mean, has been great for years. Like, this team are expected to be the best we've got.
Audio issues are ironed out, folks, so we are moments away from jumping into round number 8 of this first map of our upper finals. That's right, winner will go to the grand finals. Winner will qualify for Masters Bangkok. So far, G2 have a healthy 5-round lead. Sentinels, though, with a big buy into this round. Cosmic Divide and Null Command at their disposal.
They know where the second op is at, and there's a 2 to force. Might get that operator battle as Jaws up through mid with the dimensional drift. We saw him get so much value with this last time they tried to go for the B execute. He knows Zekin and John have both retreated.
Surely John has to be ready for this. Jorgamo, in fact, just chooses to emerge from a smoke. Here comes G2 straight up onto this B site.
He even fakes a gate crash forward, so Sen might think he's in that nebula that he's staring at right now. Pop flash out.
He's able to turn it for a time, but it's overwhelming pressure from the low ground. Zellsis with the classic. Okay. Able to find that kill. Zekin gets a rifle instead. Here's an L command. They're going to try and flood out together, but Jonah P! Oh, that's dirty. Valen? Question mark? We'll let that one slide. 3 versus 1 here for Bang, who is belated in arriving at the site, but have lined up for him somewhat. He'll only take the one.
Oh my god, nerves at the end there. Bang was on such a long rotate that they thought he must have been coming from the flank, from their spawn side. He had a real opportunity to get 2 kills there. I think this flash just went completely awry from Zellsis. It blinded, yeah, all 3 of his or that was a counter flash. I can't know for sure.
There was no assist from the flashing players.
That was, I think the KO flash going too high. Regardless, all of Sentinels blinded up. Poor Nere, this has been a miserable start for him.
He's been the one that's been getting so much of that attention up on that B site. Jorg just coming out of nowhere, usually just finding him first somehow, or getting hit with every piece of util in the book and being stunned by the time his foes came calling.
This time, Jaw getting so deep on mid, pushed all the way up. That's just a clone. All good. Second, so fast out of B. This is Sen changing the pace.
Still, that Rolling Thunder is actually headed over towards Tower on the A side of the map, but G2 are definitely gearing up to push through that smoke in A main. Hunter's Fury now being deployed by John. Narrates, gets his first of the game. He's in it, folks. Able to find that share of purchase on Jorgamo. This is Sen here with only 2 hero rifles in the round, holding their own. But now G2 are really going to come to call on this A side. An opportunity for Jonah P. Only going to find the one as Zellsis really selling the bundle. I'm not going to lie, he is quite good at marketing this classic. That is a ridiculous thrifting from Sentinels. All off the back of the push off the B side by Zekin.
Love that decision from Sen. Flank timing from Zekin is perfect. Into narrate. Prepared for Jaw to have pushed up top mid. Gets the shot off with the share. Finally on the board, as you mentioned. That was a crucial kill to pick up as well. I mean, imagine if Jaw finds one there and then is that presence, the backstab, while the sight hit comes in from the front.
How are they seeing any of these people?
Let's go! Yeah, there was a good recon in there as well from John. First time playing Sova in this tournament. It's been all Tejo, like you said before. And there were some question marks about his role swap when we came into this season due to performances from Sen in the off-season. It was weird to see him on the initiator when you're bringing in Narrate. But we'll see if he can find success on all of the important initiator agents to play, Jaw, as he wander into this.
Oh, he swings it wide! The timing there just punishes Zekin. He cannot take the shot, Jorg. Probably knows exactly what he avoided. Then G2 have found 2 big openers. That one on Zellsis is going to hurt.
And Narrate in this same horrendous situation. He feels the grip closing on him from all angles. He has to choose a fight somewhere because he knows the wrap is coming in.
Yeah, he was on a clock. He would have been shot in the back of the head had he not chosen to go forward, but either way, the odds were not in his favor. And Sen, just after a round like that, again, which I would pin on Heroics quite happily, they're again put in such an oppressive scenario.
And that is why Narrate has struggled so far and has 10 deaths at the moment. It's because G2 have been so good at wrapping around him, trying to anchor on the B site. He has been put in extremely tough situations. It's not like he's just having an bad game right now. G2 are just really exploiting the setup on that site. There needs to be an adjustment from Sen.
They're running out of time in this half, Wyatt. That's the issue. Enough money to still have a full buy in this next round. But again, we are headed into round number 11, and they have only those 2 rounds to their name. Jonah P trying to dot his I's, cross his T's, but Bang is waiting for him. Okay. Not too shabby. You'll notice that G2 aren't exactly swimming in gold coffers. 2
Still
rounds
worth
left.
going for the hunt, though, with the state of the money that they've got. I mean, Jaw is lights out at the moment.
Magnetic.
One of the things I was thinking about coming into this game,
I can't believe it either.
when we're doing this duelist comparison, is that Jaw hasn't actually needed to be the guy for G2 yet. He's been playing tons of Yoru, fulfilling his role, has had very great utility and ultimates for setting up the rest of his team. But as far as the star performance where he's fragging out, putting up the big numbers, they just have not actually needed him to do that yet. He is turning up right now, though.
And again, you know, we might have expected seeing Sentinels and what they've played so far, Wyatt, to bring Yoru into a map like this as well. And they, alongside G2, have been proponents of, you know, moving in that direction of the double initiator Yoru setup. But instead, some SEN come out with a slightly more classic look, in fact, even foregoing that second initiator. Go for a double controller setup here, and they have been picked apart on so many of these defensive rounds.
The Kaplan is already expending a second timeout here, knowing that despite this SEN comp, I think typically, you know, being better on the attack side, you're still not going to win if you can't get at least a few on defense. It's just going to be way too difficult to come back.
It's got to be 4.
They've got to get at least one more on the board, minimum here. Full bought into this. Op again for Zekin. Mixed results with that up until this juncture.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, both times he's held a passive line down mid-wide, he has missed. Punished in the most recent example as Jorgamo just ripped him a new one.
Narrate sends Dark Cover over to B Tower so Zekin can prioritize watching main, but at the moment G2, they're not playing around that side of the map. It's slow A control. It's Trent watching for a mid push, maybe out of the timeout. SEN want to do something more proactive, less reactive, but that won't be the case.
I was almost thinking that SEN might want to push off the B site again. They've had some success doing that as a duo.
Take flight.
But in fact, they are just sitting back.
It's a mid-round re-clear here with the drone, and the aftershock forces him out of it. He didn't even get around the corner. Though obviously that does still give some valuable info, knowing the breach is right there in A main, right?
Yeah, security's about to be smoked out anyway. Trent gets an Aldro and he knows there's a player at the back of the site. Here goes Sentinels. They do need to get their ducks in a row. They pulled off the site, so no one's anchoring here so much. SEN setting up for more. Oh, actually, they're coming through security right now, Wyatt.
Yeah,
they're going for an off-timing. Smokes in the way. Narrate those C's. Jonah up on that high ground. Jorgs is going to trade it out. John swings in. That's a tough one to win. And send it down to 2. They have to win this round.
Zellsis trying to find a timing up into heaven. The smoke comes down. That might have saved him, but ultimately it's going to make it more than uncomfortable and less than ideal to get back into this site. Though he does have a flash. He can pop flash out of this. There it is, but oh, it doesn't connect onto Trent.
They have every angle covered, Wyatt. They had security, A main, tower, all eyes on those locations. Okay. Link just bobbing up there, being a nuisance. Second will punish him for his audacity. But there's not much more that he can do in this round. He has to walk away. He's being chased as well. Trent is right behind him and he knows it. He's heard it.
He needs to hit the shot. They need to save the op into this next round. Trent is jiggling the angles perfectly. He's on the run and he gets punished. Gun down. Operator lost, and the economy is in a tragic situation for SEN with the timeouts expended.
He didn't have a chance to reload the shorty. I think he pulled it out for a split second and realized that he had to turn tail and run. Oh, that's heartbreaking stuff.
It doesn't matter how good their attack side is going to be. This comeback feels insurmountable. They need this last third round so desperately.
Unfortunately, right now, things are not clicking.
No, they tried to get back into the site with the paranoia.
Why are you running?
But it just didn't end up mattering. Oh, and Leaf punishes the push. Reading that with Ezo G2 and Giorgio swinging onto it.
This is only the second time that they've tried it this half. How did G2 read into this? Oh man, that is devastating. Now SEN on their last legs in this round already. A faster pace switch up here for G2 has left them without a leg to stand on.
Trying to play aggressively on defense against this G2 team, you are just wandering into a trap. Leaf is going to have the AWP on the angle. They're going to be ready to re-swing onto you with flashes from Jaw. This is next to impossible for Bang. He gets the first.
All those post-plant positions, though, there's an easy double swing here for G2 with some Jonah Pete U-tool to set it up. Smoke is well placed. Here's that Hunter's Fury now. Bang just doesn't really have the time to get to the spike where he's needed. He's able to dodge that one. Give it a tickle again. Step forward from the smoke and shut down. 10 rounds to a paltry 2. G2 clowning on SEN on this map so far. Abyss has looked so clean for them. We didn't know what to expect from SEN, but so far, we're not impressed.
Phenomenal play, working the map from G2, how they exploited mid into the B splits.
Dude, I thought me saying pause would get you like 5 kills.
Were it only that easy. It's a rough start here, an 8-round deficit for SEN, but Riv is standing by with a couple of retirees enjoying the show here at the Riot Games Arena.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am over here with Tens and Tarek. We're just hanging out. Don't need the fire extinguisher just yet, right, guys? Things are semi-okay?
Yeah, no, they're okay. Everything's going according to plan, of course.
Okay, cool. So what was the discussion over here when you guys were thinking what needs to be changed, what needs to be done? 10-2 isn't... It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Okay, I think I speak for the entire community. I think we've just had enough of Abyss. Let alone the fact that Sentinels is getting smoked on this map. It's time to remove Abyss. One in the chat if you want to remove Abyss from the rotation. Please, guys, we're begging you, man.
I agree.
You agree? What needs to change? What?
Oh, wait. Go ahead. I was gonna say Tyson has said. I think Tyson's had some strong opinions at this map of like. Hey, also I want to say sorry to the designer of the map because there is a person that put this together. So to the team, it's nothing personal, but I think you said that you've had some strong opinions about this map in the past, right?
What are you feeling?
This is not our map. Needs to go.
Oh, that's the feel?
Yeah.
That's definitely gonna nail a designer's feelings. Okay, so feeling that this isn't going your way, that's not the little bro curse, how are they gonna come back?
I think it's a go next map angle for sure.
It's a go next map angle?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look, I would love to see a comeback, but I just don't think Abyss is it for us. I'm just kidding. Go Sentinels. We got
Tens,
this.
you've been in there. What are they thinking? You know what the comms are flying through that team.
I mean, honestly, we sell more bundles, so I think we win.
It's going to be about the bundles, the vibes, the merchants. You just got to keep it up. Everybody in chat, keep the ones coming. We're going to see if SEN can keep the win coming right now as we get back into the match.
I do want to suggest that about 40% of Zellsis' kills have been with the SEN Classic. So that is definitely something worth mentioning. However, do they make up such a big deficit? I mean, when Tarek's calling it a go next map, that's worrying, but SEN City have turned up in force today to try and bolster their roster. Let's see what they've got for us here on his attack side.
Zellsis hoping after this round, maybe a full third of his kills on the board could come from the Classic. They desperately need this pistol. It feels hilarious to say that in a situation like this, but obviously must win. Well, good luck.
It's the same. Just reversed. Leaf able to find a first kill with a headhunter from Catwalk in the first round of the game. Groundhog Day out here.
Trent feels the pressure from the 0 point, so he just gets out. Time to play for a nice little retake. We've got the Breach, who we're going to excel in a situation like this.
SEN really want to try and overload in the security direction, but G2 are more than happy to contain them until they're ready to try and retake this. Slowly, Leafy's making his way on the flank, and Second takes a bunch of spray through. Valen there gets the drop on him with some free damage. And there's such a nuisance around that corner. Trent's there, eventually Valen falls off that cliff. But what about the defuse? What about the objective? The game plan here for Sentinels. Jorg might be here to disrupt it once more, but John from below. Zellsis with that off angle. They are making it hard for G2 to get back in here. Sentinels have really taken control of this site. Trent for one. He's had 3 in the round, but there's just no time to go for a defuse at this rate. And Zekin, you better believe, will keep himself scarce until it's time to strike. And away he goes. Sentinels get a crucial third on the board. That's how they had to start this half.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like Tarek. This might just be a go next type play for... Oh, wait, I mean, well, we'll see. They've got, I mean, it's a decent enough start. I'm a little worried still. Leaf's positioning in mid is going to be quite troublesome.
Takes a lot to convince you, Dr. River.
I'm still worried, man. I'm still worried.
Boys, let's go!
That push into spawn was pretty good, but it required some pretty miraculous timings and some great shots from Zellsis.
Bulldogs and Guardian here for second. Sentinels now have an opportunity to try and make hay while the sun shines. Another round here would be a huge step forward.
They need a clean conversion here, Sentinels. They're working into A main. They're going to have to deal with Trent. That's the lone player, and He's just got a classic. This should be an easy cleanup.
Made the right call, Sentinels. It's like a very elaborate 3-stack flash setup over a B that now must be dismantled and moved. Like a... Okay. Bang able to win that out. That was Jorg pushing up on that B side still. There's going to be more push from Valen there, but elsewhere. G2 need to get in position. Drop down from security. Johnny's there. The draws of the Bulldog will have their fill.
Yeah, that is Trent just trying to find the timing. Gets punished. Bang on the long rotate back. Should be easy cleanup unless Leaf can maybe find a kill with that Headhunter. Still has 4 bullets in the chamber.
Not too shabby here from Sen. Slow the pace down, of course. Yet to even punt until about 40 seconds into that round. Fast hit over on the A side. Leaf again strikes with that Headhunter like you alluded to, but I think for the rest of G2, it's the honorable way out.
Yeah, and in that situation, Leaf getting 1 is ultimately pretty irrelevant since one of the players, that was Bang, just had to go, so he's able to retrieve the Bulldog. If Sen can win this bonus, I'm going to start to believe. This comp should be better on the attack side. This is a crucial round, though.
This is the push-up here by Jorgamo. But obviously the action here was over towards this A site. A couple of moments there from G2, but Sentinels here, like they said in that first round win, brick by brick. Have themselves the bonus now. Zellsis having quite the map, all things considered. Here's Bang, though, under the fault line. Pressure, and Jorg gets him. I don't know if they realized Zekken was back there behind that cloud burst, but he takes a big hit as well.
That was a great aggressive play to throw in the mix from G2. Fault line into the flash. That's that first kill, and now Zekken wants to get back on that line. Low HP with the Guardian in hands. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to how SEN are using these smokes to try and exploit mid, push up. It's tough to play that part of the map typically, but when you have the smokes covering up those multiple angles, you can get those nice contact walks, get up close.
Kind of the incentive for playing this double controller style. Okay, slow around here for Sentinels, much more of a G2-esque pace. Starting now to inch their way up towards that B site. Jorg's having to take the shot. He gets a lot of information there. Zekken's still quite low, and John ends up falling. That's just sprayed through the wall by the looks of things. Flash to play off of Leaf capitalizes, and Zekken is down, and Sen starting to fall apart. Zellsis is not in a position to have a real impact in terms of advancing their win condition. And it's up to Narrate, who always seems to be alone against a horde. And a flawless round for G2. That is a gut punch for Sen, who were just trying to build back into the game.
And it really just comes off the back of that early round aggressive play, pushing down out of B, and then after the fact, comfortable to continue anchoring the sites while Sen are a man down. Right here, that swing off the fault line. Zekken forced to retreat. Oh my God, that is a ridiculous shot. This is Jaw in peak form right now.
Trent also having another fantastic game. I don't know what it's been about Kickoff for him, but he has been incredible. All right, Sen, of course, with that pretty smoke-heavy composition, can chop up the map a little bit and move up like they are now.
Yeah, they've got that Nebula and the dark cover, right? So here it is, the contact walk up after the recon.
More smokes.
Playing towards that vent door, just wants to keep an eye on it. And look at the rotation. This is forcing from G2. They have to pick up far more passive angles at this point.
Yep. You get top mid basically for free, Wyatt. Okay, this could be a little bit dicey. I like the idea. The trend is going to end up going down. Here comes that null command now. Zellsis getting serious about hitting this A site. No one really proximate for G2 to stop them moving through A main. Much of the fight is going to happen through these links here. Valen for 1. The jump isn't enough for Narrate. He eventually gets caught out. 3 for each to work with. Leaf now trying to get into tower. Zellsis ready for him, but Leaf is far too canny to overexpose himself.
He's playing this so well, Leaf, but Zellsis still able to find it. That is crucial. That should be the round winner. Talk about an impact kill.
And that Nova Pulse, it's too late to catch Zellsis out. Now, G2 might have to draw upon some heroics of their own. Tap of the spike, presumably for Jorgamo here. Valen has to be aware of what's going over in main, and of course, his Astra setup means the post plant is hard to play through. Half comes up for Valen! What? That is unreal. Far from done. Zellsis with a third, but Jorg, how does he get the defuse, man? That is just raw.
Just able to stick the spike. The accuracy from Valen. One of the best IGL fraggers that we have in the game. Sick two-piece.
Heartbreaking.
That kill from Zellsis in Vent, that really should have been the round winner. Able to pressure from the flank because of it.
He gets both, man.
Oh, the timing is so brutal that John is firing the shock dart. So then by the time he re-swings, Valen picks up that second angle. If he had the gun out, which, look, he can't know that. I mean, that's just so tough, such a tough timing.
It's just plot armor. G2 shrug off another close round here for SEN, and now obviously the map winner is here. SEN just bullied their way out of the A site and bowled Jonah P over in the process. Didn't have any backup to rely on at the time. John, despite being Nova Pulse, is able to get a plant down. Shock dart up to tower. Gatecrash being deployed over towards tower as well here by Jorgmo. Give him a place to fall back to. And actually gets blown up instead. Clone gives him the flash. Leaves it with a headhunter. Numbers are even now again. Bang probably feeling a little bit exposed here on that side. Zellsis 0 point though gives him the info and John whacks him down. SEN not giving up yet.
There we go, playing in front of that cosmic divide together, getting deeper in the site to set up some crossfires. Zellsis is playing lights out right now, I'll tell you that. Despite SEN, their woes on this map only having 5 rounds, he's got the most kills in the server, sitting at 18.
That was a nice little moment there from John. As well, after 0 pointing up towards that tower side, they knew. A couple players waiting for a swing there, and that was just a very fast hit from Sentinels, as opposed to previous attack side rounds, where they've just slowed the pace down and been slowly unraveled.
They forced G2 onto the eco. Leaf, however, with the tour de force, wants to end the game now.
Before those sails start to swell too much. The Sentinels sloop.
Valen feeling pressure, needs to put down that Nebula, wants to play in it. Oh my god, that is a sick angle, but Second finds the first kill.
And he's all over the site now. Sentinels well and truly in there. A late wrap here from Leaf, but bear in mind the weaponry for G2 is just not there. So they might get themselves another now. Recon does tag Zekken out. Oh, goes low. Decent pressure from Trent in upper. Leaf here with the tour de force in this round, as we mentioned earlier. Hoping to take a bit more away from it. But getting onto the side is a whole different story. Jonah P. Trent still stacked up here. Still have to try and make a way in with these pistols. Okay. Zellsis gets dropped by Leaf. That was an operator, if I'm not mistaken. Another? This is so bad for your economy, man! That is disgusting!
God!
iBuyPower ace comes up for Leaf. Yay, lets the round go, but SEN, it just ruins their economy, man. Remember, of course, for the first ace of the week, iBuyPower giving away a PC. Following that, $100 Riot gift card, $100 in iBuyPower awards for every ace. Follow at iBuyPower on socials. Hashtag unlock your ace.
That is one of the most outrageous yet least consequential aces I've ever seen. Though I will, listen, that's some good stat padding for Leaf, who once again is dropping minimum 20 every map so far in Kickoff. That was crazy.
I mean, the whole site is littered with those trademark oil fields. I don't know what's going anywhere. Okay. Let's just calm it down a little bit, shall we? Sentinels, of course, still can buy for the most part. I think Zekken's banking off getting an orb here.
Yeah, he threw the rifle over to, I believe, Zellsis. They need to recover that orb so he can get the Blade Storm ready. Center gathered up towards B. Jaw on the close angle.
What a sickening round that was.
Does have the gate crash to get away from here after he takes that first engagement.
Jorgmo knows his first shot needs to be good. Narrate just TPing pretty deep here. It's actually going to stick it. So Sentinels very much set up on this B side behind this Astral Divide.
Has to use 2 teleports. A little bit unfortunate if he's in a situation where he wants to get away. John has a Hunter's Fury, though, for this post plant.
I mean, I'd be scared now if there's some flood util to deal with. Narrate doesn't have an option to get out. Okay, Jordan, that's a little bit audacious, I'll be honest with you. Pops out of that dimensional drift, and here come the Sentinels now. Some punishment for G2. A little bit lax on this round, perhaps the protocol's not quite airtight. In a flawless round, the Sentinels keeping their head above the surging tides.
Yeah, you said it. Rare moment where the fundamentals are off for G2. A bit of life for Sentinels as Giorgimo is punished, trying to get out of the dimensional drift with that Hunter's Fury ringing off from Trent. But the timing just isn't there. That's two big ults gone now for G2. And the economy.
Nice, boys, let's go!
In tatters again.
Zellsis. You get excited about, for sure.
He's keeping that energy up, as always.
Narrate's been under so much pressure this game. Had to deal with the emerging Giorgimo. But he handled it cleanly.
And you've got Jaw press pretty far forward on B. Leaf taking contact for him. But it's slow from SEN at the moment.
We're talking Outlaw and a single hero rifle outside of that for G2. They have to take their foot off the gas in this round.
And Leaf would have to hit two shots connected, or a headshot to actually get a kill with that Outlaw. No one from SEN on light armor.
Jorg, of course, the one with the rifle.
Here.
Playing up here on coast, and that's the ping. They know that there's something afoot over on the B side, but SEN are pulling out of that part of the map. Valen on this walk-up might get a lot of value here. That Recon's not going to spot him out. He can rat this corner. But it looks like SEN are grouping for a full A run.
Yeah, Valen is hearing the footsteps, so G2, they're trying to beat them over towards A. No command popped off. That'll stop Jonah from getting any breach util in here.
Well, Valen also can't make use of that Astra util. He got caught out by that null command and suppressed. But second is down. Professor P from up on high. Oh my goodness! Narrate perforated as he tries to go for a plant. And Sentinels only have two left to work with. Jonah P stays off the aggression now as a clone drops down. Zellsis realizes it. Flash follow it up. Giorgimo with the rifle still. A real threat. Where's the plant coming from? John has to put it down now, but a fault line is going to interrupt. He still has to stick it. Eventually take it down, and it's on Zellsis. Up to him in a 1 versus 3 to salvage the game for Sentinels. Professor P puts the period on the sentence, and G2 will claim Abyss.
At the end of the day, that just comes down to their excellence on defense. SEN, they have a comp that certainly will be better on the attack side look, but the rounds they got, just two, it's not going to be enough, even with a pistol round win. Insurmountable lead, but at least a bit of momentum coming their way with Zellsis in particular playing excellent on that map despite the loss. They're going to Pearl, that's their map pick next. And at least now it's feeling a bit more competitive, but this run of G2 winning maps with ease continues. 5 in a row, and 5 in a row where Leaf has dropped minimum 20 kills. Outlandish.
The guys cannot be stopped. Some ridiculous moments in this game, and on map as well. Especially seeing where Sentinels found their strength. Zellsis has had a great showing in general. We saw the ceiling of Sentinels at times, but I've got to say the floor of G2 felt like it was much, much higher consistently over the course of this map. They showed their dominance, and moments like this, flashes of brilliance, heroics as they've been dubbed. Yes, they've given Sentinels a little bit to work with, but that's just not enough against a team like this. G2 aren't rattled so easily.
Yeah, that G2, they were so good at exploiting mid on that attack side. Wrapping all the way around to hit the B site. The anchors over there were struggling so hard. It was just a fantastic game plan. But SEN, they need to rally back on their pick.
We're going to step away, and up next, Golden Boy in the analyst desk will break down a ridiculous map number 1 in this best of 3. Winner, of course, goes to Bangkok.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be.
You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone. And you'll get iPhone 16 on us. That's a value of up to $1,600, only on Verizon.